Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy NOFTY, Nopty Noah. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving home right now. I'm gonna try to focus this shit a little bit better for y'all. But I'm on my way home right now from watching the bowl, Super Bowl 59, and it's just my off the top reaction to it. As a Giants fan, not too happy. I mean, you know, neither way, I didn't have like a huge favorite, but because I'm not a Chiefs fan, I'm not an Eagles fan, but we fucking hate the Eagles because we're Giants fans and we're rivals. And I've seen my man Deshaun Jackson take one home on us. I've seen Jake Elliott kick the 61-yarder. And going all the way back to the days of Chuck Bednarik and all those guys. Obviously, I wasn't alive for that, but Eagles have just always been our arch nemesis. Never want to see them win. Don't like Jalen Hurts. Don't like A.J. Brown. I don't really like Saquon. Again, I'm not salty about us not getting him because, truthfully, he's an amazing talent. We should have kept him, but if you add him to our squad, we're really not doing shit anyway. Our team sucks. Yeah, you know, we won, 2 games this year? 3 games? I don't even know. I feel like we won 2. We might have pulled out 3 at the end. Once Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito were starting for that final starting spot, I was, I can't say I'm fully locked in anymore because this season was an embarrassment for us. And then you got the Eagles, on the other hand, who just whooped the Chiefs in the Super Bowl game. Jalen Hurts, MVP, deserved. Kind of thought Cooper DeJean was going to get it. He played a really solid game. He had the pick 6, but I totally get it. That's a super hard award for a defensive player to win. Usually the quarterback will get it as long as he didn't play like ass. Jalen Hurts had 2 really bad underthrows in the first half, but other than that, he played a very solid game. But I mean, you know, he threw some good balls, played a good game. Saquon got stuffed. Really didn't have a great game on his birthday. Goddard, whatever. A.J. Brown, whatever. Devontae Smith had a pretty solid game, but overall, you know, whatever. Offensive line, great. It was really the defense that stepped up. I mean, that defense is playing out of their mind really good. Patrick Mahomes played the worst game I've seen him play, and I mean, honestly, probably 5 years, honestly. Maybe more. Played a horrible game. He made some really nice throws to Xavier Worthy at the end of the game, but it was obviously way too late. He made it just inside of a 20-point game at the end. So he really struggled this game. I mean, but I'm just pissed off because, you know, I'll put the link to the article in the description that I made for the Super Bowl preview, but I had X factors for the Eagles. I had Jalen Carter. He wasn't too much. He had a really nice pressure that he got pushed into Patrick Mahomes in the beginning of the game by his own offensive lineman. The offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the best in the league, played like absolute shit tonight. But my X factors was Hurts. If he can throw the ball, which he did, they will be in a good position, which they were. Jalen Carter, if he could take over the game, it's looking rough. And then my last one was I put Burks because just he's been really solid for them. He didn't have an outstanding game. He played good. The whole defense really stepped up, played good. But I can't give a ton of credit to the Eagles. Am I being stubborn? Am I being a little bitch about it because I'm a Giants fan? Maybe I am, and I could say that they played a great game, but this game just pissed me off from Kansas City. And it's like, Mahomes played a bad game. It's acceptable. A quarterback, especially to his level, is allowed to have a bad game. And even at the end of the day, if you look at the stat line, like, his numbers don't look insanely bad at the end because he threw two 2 plays to Xavier Worthy, he combined for, probably 60, 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm going to say, if you're Patrick Mahomes, you're allowed to have a bad game. You are one of the best quarterbacks to ever touch the gridiron. But goddamn, man. I mean, you look at this team that Kansas City built, and I know it's hard to say because they were what? They were they were either 16-1 or I think they were 15-2. But they're the 1 seed. They won a bunch of games by 1 possession, which is a little scary. But overall, it's like, who gives a fuck at the end of the day? You won all your games. I mean, you really only lost 1 besides the Denver game, which it was all backups. Who cared anyways? Got trounced, but who cares? But, I mean, it sounds crazy to say, like, this roster, what the hell are you doing with this roster? Because they made it this far, and they were an amazing team. But, I mean, it blows my mind how unprepared this roster was for if Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a greatest of all time type of game. You're so accustomed to him having these games that you're just like, all right, Patrick's got it, which I can't blame you for that because Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest players to ever touch the football field, like I mentioned. But you look at the supporting cast and it's just pathetic. And you think it's bad last year when they have nobody. They have Kadarius Toney. They got I really can't even. They got Mecole Hardman, who had a big catch. He honestly played better than any of the other guys that were supposed to be on a fucking crumb for Kansas City. Honestly, I think they would have loved Mecole Hardman tonight. But you got, that shitty roster of receivers that they have. But this is the thing. You got Travis Kelce last year, who was just an all-out beast. This year, we've seen the decline of him a lot. But then you got some really, really nice games from him, like the first playoff game they had, last regular season game that he played in. He had like 7 catches, 8 catches, maybe over 100 yards, 90, something like that. Really impressive games either way. But I mean, last game you saw, he got bottled, man, by Buffalo. And then it's like, you know what? He's a big-time player. Super Bowl's coming. Eagles' defense is really solid, but, they got so much to worry about. Patrick, he's going to make it work. They're going to do it. He played like shit again today. And this Kelce is nowhere near the player he was last year or the year before. So, it's crazy because I think Xavier Worthy's way better than any receiver that they had last year on the squad. That's without a doubt, right? But you got Xavier Worthy, who covers up for the fact that Travis Kelce has taken a significant drop-off this season. But then you got Xavier Worthy, maybe a quarter, a fraction of what Travis Kelce was. And then you got Marquise Brown, or Hollywood, and who, I mean, he looked like he could be, a solid 4th receiver on the roster or something. He's put in a position where he has to catch a lot of balls, and he couldn't because he's not that good. He never has been. He's a fast guy that has a couple of good traits about him, but he's never been a good pass catcher. He's never been a great route runner. So you got Marquise Brown, and he also came off an injury, so he's just washed. So you got him, who's washed. DeAndre Hopkins, you traded for him. He had a really nice game right off the bat. 2-touchdown game, massive game. Since then, you haven't heard goddamn anything from him. Playoffs, you haven't seen shit from him. You see games where he's not even out there. Today, you saw him. I don't know what the hell he did. I don't know if he slipped. I don't know if he dropped the ball. I don't know if he did a combination. I don't really know what he did, but he dropped a wide open pass. That really messed up the rhythm. Other than that, didn't really do anything. Mahomes tried to force a terrible ball to him on 4th down with Justin Watson right in the middle of the field. Don't know why he did that. That was one of the stupidest plays I've ever seen Mahomes make. But overall, it's just the point of, I cannot believe that Kansas City came into the situation with this team and expected to beat this Eagles team. Because at the beginning of the year, it's like, wow, this offense is nuts, right? For the Philadelphia Eagles, you got Jalen Hurts, who's capable of having, some really bad games, but he's a good quarterback. We all know that. Great with his legs, okay in the air. Saquon Barkley, stud. A.J. Brown, stud. Devontae Smith, stud. Dallas Goedert, really solid tight end. Probably best offensive line in football. The only problem is defense. You got Gardner Johnson, who's a loose screw a little bit. He's not great. He started off the season horrible. Darius Slay had a really bad season at the beginning. And even, throughout the year, he wasn't great, but he really, he wasn't as bad as he was in the beginning of the year for most of the year. But it's like, I don't know, the defense is the problem. As the year went on, this defense proved that they were really, really good with Burks, with Zach Bond, with Jalen Carter, with Jordan Davis, Reed Blake and shit. Like, this defense is nuts. It's actually really good. Darius Slay, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, all these different guys that they got. It's like, wow, this team is really, really nice. And as a Giants fan, I'm fucking terrified. You got Washington, who has the guy who maybe just put up the best rookie quarterback season ever, and a team that's really solid, who has a lot of cap space coming up. And you got Philly, who just won the championship now, and is also a young team with a lot of really nice young talent. It makes you say, oh shit. And then, you got Dallas, who's really struggling right now, but you know how Dallas is. I mean, they're going to get the guys, and they're better than us. You know what I mean? They're better than us right now. So I can't say shit about what they got going on in 2 years, because I don't know what the hell we got going on in 2 years. We're in position to maybe get some young guys, get some talent. But then today, news broke that we're kind of linked with Stephon Diggs. Why the fuck are we linked with Stephon Diggs? This guy just tore his ACL. He's over 30 years old. We don't need that. We do not need Stephon Diggs. Locker room cancer as well. We don't need it. That's a whole nother thing. We're talking about the Eagles here. Anyway, my point is, you got this roster who offensive juggernaut, defense way better than we all thought, and lately they've been playing out their mind, right? So you come in as Kansas City. I don't know who the GM is over there, to be honest with you. I know Andy Reid's the head coach, obviously. I know Spags. I know all these different all these different coaches, all these different executives. Don't know who the general manager is. Don't really care. The point is, how do you come in and expect this team to go and beat this Philadelphia Eagles team? You got Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest players in the world, one of the greatest players of all time. And then you got Travis Kelce, washed. DeAndre Hopkins, washed. Marquise Brown, washed. You brought back Kareem Hunt, who didn't touch a goddamn football last year. And he had an okay season this year. Really, his touchdown numbers were inflated, and that was about it. His rushing numbers were pretty mediocre at best. But even then, you know how he is. You saw him today. He barely even touched the damn ball, and honestly, I don't blame him. You got Pacheco. He had a bad injury, and since then, he hasn't been on a damn crumb. It's frustrating, man. So you got washed receivers. And then you got, I like Justin Watson. I think he deserves more time. But even then, you're looking at highest potential, highest ceiling for him is a wide receiver 3. And even then, I think that's high for him. I think a wide receiver 4 is good. A guy that could plug in and you can get some good value out of him. But you got him and Xavier Worthy. That's really it. You got a good offensive line with a great quarterback, a very solid rookie receiver who, again, you cannot place all of your receiver help on a rookie. But even then, he showed up today. Can't say shit about him. It's just sad, man. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know what the hell happened to him. I know he wasn't great in Tennessee, but goddamn, man, like, how do you fall that quickly out of your prime? I don't get it. And this team, like, it's just not built. And this defense wasn't great today. McDuffie got absolutely toasted. All pro, he's been great all year. I've watched him all year. He's been amazing. Jalen Watson's been another guy who's been really good. He got torched so bad on that one play. It was disgusting. Nick Bolton, he was one of my X factors for the Chiefs. But when I say X factors, that doesn't mean I believe in you. I believe it's going to happen. It means if you get this with this player, you have a way better chance at winning. And my whole thing was Nick Bolton's got to be aware of the fact that Saquon Barkley is the best offensive player in the league this year. They did. They got that assignment down. They didn't get anything else down. And I don't know if that's who to blame, but I've always had a problem with Nick Bolton because I think he's a good player. He's okay against the run. Really gets lost in everything, actually. He gets lost in the run, too. He gets lost a lot in coverage, but he gets lost in everything. I don't know who to blame it on, but the defense was pretty shit, too. But really, Patrick Mahomes made some of the worst decisions, worst throws I've seen him make ever. Totally crazy. But, yeah, my biggest takeaway is just I don't understand how you walk in with this team and expect greatness because you have Patrick Mahomes. I understand that's what you've kind of relied on, but you've always had Travis Kelce, who's guaranteed going to get you at least 6 catches for probably 100 yards, probably a touchdown or 2. Like, Travis Kelce, this man was so buns today, bro. He dropped a wide open pass in the beginning of the game. That definitely fucked up their vibe. They were actually rolling a little bit in that drive. Did that, fucked up their drive. And then also Mahomes hit him, practically bounced it to him. Terrible throw. No connection between those two. He had like a catch or 2 at the end of the game, but he was a non-fucking factor at all. DeAndre Hopkins had a drop. I think he had a somewhat decent catch at the end of the game, but goddamn was he nowhere to be found. Marquise Brown was located a couple times, didn't do shit. Like I said, Xavier Worthy's the only guy. And you're putting all that pressure on a rookie receiver who, again, when he got drafted, we looked at him like, oh, he could be good. But nobody expected him to be a number 1 receiver. And I think it's possible that he could be because he's actually really, really talented. I really like that guy a lot. But it's like, you gotta see this for what it is, man. Like, you come into this game with arguably maybe behind or maybe in front of like the Raiders and I don't know who else, but you got arguably the worst rushing game in the league with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. It doesn't sound terrible on paper. It's terrible. I don't think I saw Pacheco play tonight, and I barely saw Kareem Hunt play tonight, and when I did, it wasn't pretty. But I mean, you know, I will give my flowers. Shout out to the Eagles. You know, they won. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say because I hate the Eagles. I don't want to see them back there ever again. Kind of hoping Nick Sirianni walks out and, you know, has to deal with some consequences as soon as he walks outside. But, you know, that's a subject for a different time. It's just crazy, man. I mean, that Super Bowl is a bad one. And we've seen some bad ones over the last, decade? You know, of course, first one that comes to mind, Rams-Patriots game, 13-6, I think it was at the end. Really bad game. At least that one's close. I'd prefer that game, I suppose, because at least it keeps you on the edge of your seat. This one, you knew it was over by, half. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, they get the ball, they score. They get the ball, they score. They get the ball, they score. 2-point conversions, cool. It's possible they have Patrick Mahomes, but deep down, it's like, all right, yeah, they can go score 2-point conversion, score 2-point conversion, which is hard enough as it is. This defense doesn't stop them. This defense isn't stopping them. You can hold these guys to an extent, but when the hell is Saquon Barkley going to start popping this shit up the middle and then he's got an 80-yard run? I mean, legitimately. How many times have we seen that this season? And, they got lucky because they didn't see it this year, but fuck it. Who Who cares? They said, you know what? You planned for Saquon. You didn't plan for Jalen Hurts to come out and throw for what? How many yards did he have? 230 maybe. You didn't plan for that shit, and you should have. And it's crazy because I think when I was watching the Chiefs a lot this year, I noticed that they had one of the best secondaries in the league. Justin Reed, you saw him make some really nice plays in open field in the beginning of the game. He had a spectacular game. Trent McDuffie, all pro this year. He played like shit. Jalen Watson, not a good game for him at all. He was really solid this year. And then he had everybody step up, whether it was safety or, it was free safety, strong safety, or cornerback or nickel or anything like that. Whoever came in and stepped up for the Chiefs this year had some pretty good luck in the secondary, and today all of that went down the drain. These receivers have not been good lately at all. Last game was the first game that we've seen them have like in recent, last 4 weeks that they've actually played good. Goddard is good for 50 maybe, but nothing more, nothing crazily less. In between that 35. 55 range, that's what he's giving you. So I guess if you're scared of that, then there's that. A.J. Brown, we know how much of a beast he can be. Has he been anything like that recently? God, no. There's been games where he literally hasn't even gotten the ball almost. Devontae Smith, he has his times too, but I mean, he's nothing to worry about either until tonight. Which even then, he really didn't have a crazy game. This was a Jalen Hurts masterclass. In a way. Like I said, he threw some bad balls. He didn't absolutely go out there and wow everybody and stun everybody, but he played a very good game. He game managed to perfection at the end of the day. He didn't bust any big 44-yard rushing touchdown loose or throw any monster balls, but he threw some nice balls for 30 yards. I agree with him being MVP. Like I said, I had some consideration for Cooper DeJean, but you got to give it to him. It's a quarterback award. And, yeah, I mean, really, I'm just thinking about it from two perspectives. One, Chiefs, what the hell are you doing walking in with the squad around Patrick Mahomes? I have no idea what you're thinking. I have no idea how you think that's a good idea. You're wrong. And then my other perspective is just as a biased Giants fan. And I'm saying, fuck the Eagles. I hate that they won. Not that I love the Chiefs or anything, but, give me that three-peat. I'm very not happy that they won, but my more concern is I don't care what we do in the draft this year. I don't care what we do in free agency. I think it's inarguable that we're still probably the worst team in the league this year, in our division. We can go out and get Cam Ward, which I don't even think we're going to be able to because our pick odds. It's just a sad time for the Giants right now. We really have nothing going. We got a really good defensive lineman, which I love Dexter, and I would do anything to keep him on the team. But again, your team is not going to be the best team with your best player being a defensive tackle or a nose tackle. Brian Burns, great, not worth the money we paid him. I like him a lot. Thibodeau, get his ass off the team. You're pathetic. I don't want to see you keep beefing with Dez Bryant. Trash defense. Deontay Banks was expecting so much from him. He had a terrible year. I went to a Giants game against Washington, and I almost wanted to pull my hair out. I was spitting all over the people in front of me because I was screaming at Deontay Banks. So many problems there on defense. Offense. Cut Daniel Jones midseason. Had Tommy fucking DeVito and Drew Lock starting for us. Need a quarterback. Tyron Tracy was okay. He had a lot of fumble problems towards the end. A little concerned about that. I don't think he's great. I think he's okay. Malik Neighbors, total diva. We found that negative quality out about him, but he's a stud, so whatever, it's fine. Rest of the receivers, super, super mid, if anything. Not good. Tight end, Theo Johnson, whatever. Offensive line, not good. We just have so many holes, and it doesn't matter if we get a franchise quarterback right now. It'd be great for us. There's 2 franchise quarterbacks in our division already with hell of a lot better teams than us. Like I said, honestly, Dak's a franchise quarterback too, whether you like him, whether you want to call him whatever. He is a good quarterback, and he will keep the Dallas Cowboys, somewhat relevant if he's healthy and his team isn't god-awful. Yeah, man. Just sucks as a Giants fan seeing this. I know we have our championships, but it's just been a while since we've had really anything. And the Eagles are quite literally, I hate the Cowboys. Everything in me, I'd rather see the Cowboys win than the Eagles. I hate the San Francisco 49ers. I'd rather see them win than the Eagles. There's no team that I'd rather, no team I'd rather have win. Yeah. Those are my thoughts, just basic thoughts. I mean, I might feel differently tomorrow morning about certain things. I don't think so, because I think the things that I'm saying are pretty understandable. Like, Chiefs, what the hell are you doing going out there with Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, and DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown as your options? That's pathetic. And my Giants thoughts were fucked. We all know that. But yeah, I might feel a little differently. This is just my thoughts coming right off the Super Bowl, driving home. Tired as hell. But yeah, that's it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was a hard one to enjoy. It was a weird one. Score was high from the Eagles' perspective, but really wasn't a good game. Wasn't exciting. Kendrick's I think Kendrick halftime was okay. Very anticipated for a lot of different people, for a lot of different things. Didn't match any of it. I think Wayne would have been a lot better. I think a lot of people would have been a lot better, but Kendrick did his thing. I don't have anything crazy to say about the halftime show, but it was a little boring. The game was boring. Definitely not a great Super Bowl, and me and my dad were talking about it too. This year was definitely not the best NFL product either. The playoffs were not great. There was a lot of blowouts, a lot of bad games. There was a couple good ones, like the last Bills game was really good. The Eagles-Rams game was really good. Vikings game in the first round was a blowout. Lions-Commanders was okay, but really it was just like, damn, Commanders are going to win. I think Commanders are going to win. Oh, Commanders won. Kind of a weak season. I think the season was cool. There were some cool parts about it, but it was a hard year for Giants fans. We sucked. And then just not the best overall year. But, like I said, give Philly the flowers. Congratulations on your championship. You guys have a good team. Hopefully they all break up. I wish you nothing but terrible luck. But I respect it. I respect the team this year. Don't respect anybody on it. But yeah. So anyway, y'all get some good sleep. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time.